Right now, though, we have a chance to talk some NBA news and items of interest with one of our favorite national guys, Sean Deveney of the Sporting News. Sean, thank you for visiting with us. As we were just talking with Mike Richmond of the Oregonian, it's kind of the time of the summer when maybe there's a little bit of a break from NBA news, but it always seems like something's going on. What has piqued your interest about this summer? What would you say if somebody were to pull you aside and say, what do you think has been the number one story of the summer?
Well, I think we can probably all agree that that's Kevin Durant going to Golden State. I mean, that obviously was a jolting move, one that really the whole league has talked about, and Adam Silver at the Board of Governors meeting last week in Las Vegas certainly had a lot to say about it and some of the concerns that he has about it and ownership, and certainly I've heard from, as you guys have as well, I'm sure, from plenty of fans who are not exactly happy about the fact that the rich get richer here. So, it's that is one that, even as much as LeBron and Chris Bosh going to Miami in 2010, I think in the last, probably in the last 20 years, if you go back to, say, Shaq going to Los Angeles, I would say in the last 20 years, those three moves are probably right on par in terms of things that can really, jolt the NBA and change the direction of the NBA, probably for the next 5 to 8 years. Those are probably the three biggest moves, really, of the last 2 decades.
Obviously the Kevin Durant signing is huge for the reasons you just described, but, I want to kind of see if I can put this in perspective. Last year, San Antonio, signed LaMarcus Aldridge, and they signed a number of other guys in pursuit of a championship. David West took a lot less money to go to San Antonio, and the Cleveland Cavaliers have continued with LeBron there to have guys gravitate there in an effort to win a championship and playing with LeBron. None of those being the marquee signings of a Kevin Durant, but I still look at those situations as tipping the balance of power in the league. Why, in comparison, is the Kevin Durant thing such a big deal?
Yeah, look, for me personally, I don't think, I think that the reaction that Kevin Durant has gotten, the Warriors have gotten, has been a little skewed, and I think the guy has every right to do what he wanted, and everybody knew it was possible. Everybody knew because of the, that it was just sort of a freak thing with the way that the cap was spiking that this was going to happen. But, I think that the reason that it does have such resonance is just the fact that it seems to put the championship out of reach for so many teams for a significant number of years, and I think that's there's a little bit of hopelessness that goes with that. Now, look, Durant could be a free agent next year. We don't know what's going to happen. This whole thing could go haywire. There's no telling. But at this point, that's pretty much the reason why they are why the reaction has been so strong. Is I really think that there's this feeling on the part of a lot of fans that the whole thing is rigged now. We don't have a chance. If you're in if you're in Milwaukee or Minnesota, then you just don't feel like you've got that your team really has an equal footing with a team like Golden State, and that's something I think that gets people upset. Now, again, look, the Warriors played by the rules. Durant played by the rules, and you really can't fault them for that. But it doesn't change the reaction. You can't really, not a lot of nuance there when you try to explain it to the greater number of people.
Sean, do you think that another contributing factor to the reaction was the fact that Oklahoma City played well? I mean, they played so well in the playoffs, so it's not like Kevin Durant got to a point where he felt like they couldn't get to the mountaintop in OKC. I guess I should ask you if you think that contributed to the amount of reaction.
Yeah, it wasn't like Chris Paul playing for the Hornets and them obviously not going anywhere, and him sort of giving them an indication, hey, you should trade me because I'm not going to stick around. There was no indication on Kevin Durant's part. He kind of left Oklahoma City holding the bag. They never got a chance to trade him or got an indication of what he was going to do. So, I do think that absolutely does factor into it. And as an organization, like you say, it's not like, it's not like they were winning 40-something games and not really going anywhere. I mean, they got this new coach. They brought the new coach in. As things progressed, they played better. They have another superstar. Yes, they traded James Harden, but that wasn't necessarily a terrible move for them. And certainly they brought in some pieces and changed their look and been willing to pay players ever since. So, I just don't I just don't think that there's a lot of fans who can really look at this and see it as fair, even though as we can sit back and those of us who know all the intricacies of the salary cap, all the things that you guys know with the luxury tax and all that. Even as we know all that, I think that people can kind of sit back and say, this just doesn't smell right, and that's sort of the problem that the league has right now.
Sean, the last time the collective bargaining agreement was put together, there were things put in place that were supposed to help smaller market teams. There was supposed to be an advantage gained if you were a team that had a free agent, in that you could give that guy more money and more years. It seems like maybe that hasn't been as important to some of these free agents, perhaps because they can get some of that money back in endorsements, maybe the feeling that they want to play for a winner. Maybe that was underestimated the last time. But do you sense that something like this happening, that, as you said, could really shift the balance of power to a place where it kind of was anyway, but maybe put it there for quite a while? Is this something we should be concerned about now as we look ahead to, again, another collective bargaining agreement that's going to be coming due here pretty soon? Will this potentially shake up some things and put people in a position where we could have a stalemate in terms of getting something agreed upon as the best way to proceed going forward? I don't know if there's something that needs to be stopped or curtailed, or if there needs to be more things put in place to protect teams from losing their best player for nothing. But it just seems like this could maybe have some collective bargaining agreement ramifications down the line.
Yeah, and it was funny listening to Adam Silver at that press conference in Las Vegas last week, where it almost seemed like, as much as he was talking to us in the media and to the fans that we were going to write our stories for, he was also talking to the owners. And I'm sure he said this time and time again in the Board of Governors meeting, and that is, this is an anomaly. This is just because we had the big spike in the TV deal, and it could happen again next year. I mean, frankly, when you look at the way the numbers are going to be next year, it's going to go up another 15 to 20%. So you're going to have a similar situation. I don't think we'll see the same result, but certainly it's set up that way. And then after that, it's going to plateau and it's going to flatten out, and sort of the new wave of money that has come in will be spent, and we'll be back to sort of the normal order of business. But for these 2 years, it's going to be strange, and you're going to see strange things. And I think that Adam Silver's job here is to sort of keep the owners calm and make sure they know that this is a temporary sort of thing, and that they shouldn't necessarily bring it into the CBA. That of course they're going to try to find ways where they can help out smaller market teams and try to keep a level playing field. I don't think that's possible personally, but I know that's going to be one of his goals. But I also think he has to sort of balance that against this notion that this is a short-term thing. This is not how it's always going to be. You don't want to go into a long lockout when there's all these billions of dollars being thrown around, and you're going into a lockout. That's not going to look very good. So I think it's a pretty delicate balance that Adam Silver's working with here.
Yeah, but I want to quickly add this though. Because of the current anomaly of the cap increasing in subsequent years, you get star players signing one-year deals, and that certainly works against what I think fans generally want to see in the cornerstone of their franchise.
Oh, I don't disagree with you, but again, I don't think there's a whole lot that you can do to stop it. It's well within their their rights to do that. And again, I think it is going to, once you get to the point where it doesn't really pay for you to do that. Once that doesn't make financial sense, and that's going to come in a couple years, then that's going to go away. So again, I think that's part of what Adam Silver's doing here is trying to really walk that fine line. And we've also seen, you go back to last summer, Kevin Love, for instance, had the opportunity to opt into his contract, remember, and take a 1-year deal, and he could have been a free agent this this past year, and he didn't do it. He opted for the security of the 5-year, $115 million deal that he signed. So you're still going to have a lot of players who do that as well. So again, I think it's going to be tough, but because there is sort of a heated view of what's going on here. But I think that the challenge for Adam Silver is to just keep reminding the owners that, hey, this is not going to be how it's always going to be, that it's going to normalize after next summer.
SportingNews.com for all of your great writing. Sean, tell everybody how they can follow you on Twitter.
I am at Sean Deveney, so it's just SEAN and then my last name.
Very good. Thank you for the visit. As always, great insight, Sean, and have a great rest of the summer. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, guys. Thank you.